Hello. Welcome to the e-NABLE Town Hall meeting for November, what is today? The 13th, 2015. It's Friday the 13th, which for some people is an unlucky day, and in our family, the 13th, Friday the 13th is a very lucky day for a lot of reasons. So I'm happy that it's the 13th. Anyway, Town Hall is a weekly Google Hangout on air where team leads and community members are able to update the community on what's been happening. I'm Justine Diamond, your host for this week's meeting. Please remember that you can ask questions to any of our speakers through the Q&A feature. You'll find the Q&A feature on certain devices right at the top of your screen. You just have to click on the little grid of 9 boxes. But on some devices, such as an iPad, you may find you can't access the Q&A. That happens on certain phones as well. Questions can be posted to the event page in the comment section, and we will try to monitor those as we go along. If we cannot get to a question or if we miss a question, we do try to answer it in the comment section. If there's something that doesn't get addressed, you can always email me at events.enable@gmail.com, and I will try to get back to you as quickly as possible. So Town Hall is all about the community. And it's great when people are able to share what they're doing locally with the larger community. If there's something that you would like to share at an upcoming town hall, or if you know someone who's doing great work and you think that they should come and speak, let me know. Put a comment on this broadcast or send me an email. Again, you can email me at events.enable@gmail.com. We have a lot of we have one guest today, and we have quite a number of exciting announcements. So I think this is going to be a very good town hall. So what's been happening? You can, as always, find the calendar on the community site as well as the foundation site. I will pull it up. If I can find it. I did this last week, and I apologize. Okay, just give me a second. I'll get back to that and get the calendar. We have a number of events going on this weekend. There are some Boy Scout and Girl Scout events that are going on in Maryland. John Diamond and I will be tomorrow at the TEDx talk that's being held in Jersey City. We are not presenting a talk, but there is a tech engagement area during the TEDx event, and we will have an e-NABLE table, hopefully being able to talk to various people and get people excited about what we're doing. This past week, John Diamond and I went to visit Carolyn Latham and the students at Convent of the Sacred Heart, who are very involved with the Education Initiative, and that was very exciting. And I will talk about that more, but I'm going to wait until Rich Lair gets here, since he is the education coordinator, and I know that he will be interested in what we found out. So what I'm going to do right now is pass the microphone over to John Schul, who will have some exciting things to tell us about.
Hello, everybody. This actually is a big deal for us. We were awarded, it was announced just yesterday, a substantial prize for being leaders in social innovation by the JMK Social Innovation Fund, a New York-based foundation that was actually founded a long time ago, which is specifically looking for new approaches to transformative environmental and cultural causes. And they have now recognized the e-NABLE Community Foundation. From a field of 1,100 applicants, they chose 10 winners, one of them being your foundation, with an award that will help ECF, quote, organize its growing network of volunteers in many countries and help connect them with recipients receiving devices. So it gives us a few more resources to work with as we figure out how to support the community, but it also gives us really a wonderful recognition for the work that we're doing. It was indeed a competitive process, and the application was written, with many thanks, by Grace Mastali, by Johnny Fella, by me, and by Maria Escuela, who deserve a great deal of credit, as does everyone else, for doing what they have now recognized. So that's a big deal. There's actually lots of information about that to be found at their website, which is jmkfund.org. And then, for that matter, you can follow your way to /awardee, and you'll see that we're in really excellent company. I will transition from that to talk about the aforementioned Maria Escala, who is stepping back from her work with the foundation, but is going to remain an absolutely treasured MVP and participant, and who, as I say, helped us win this very prize. So we thank her and we salute her. If you're currently in the habit of sending email to Maria, you should actually CC or redirect it to Justine for event-related matters, to Melina for matching and other such matters, to me or to Grace or to Marla for other matters, especially including partnerships and relationships and things we can do to continue to build this extraordinary growing ecology of digital humanitarians. So that's that. Another piece of our extraordinary ecology is the work that's being done by designers and fabricators. And I have here, as an example, the modular arm that was been championed by Skip Metz, who just sat down next to me. And at the end of this modular arm, and this is the point because it's a modular arm, is an adapter that connects it to Jason Bryant's Phoenix hand. As many of you know, Jason did a wonderful job producing a Phoenix, a new design with a number of features that actually bring together innovations from many sources, including at Arabian's group at Pacific University, the Whipple tree, which, as we all know, is one of our great triumphs of collective collaborative innovation, and other things. But Jason created this design. He and the community have already done a fair amount of print testing and user testing, and it's looking really promising. The matching team is now going to consider it for specific identified cases, and we are really interested in having other people in the community testing and evaluating this. A particularly fruitful opportunity for volunteers in the community who have already done hands and are still in touch with the recipients that have other devices would be to play around with the Phoenix hand, to get comparative feedback from your recipients and from yourselves, and share it with us. John Diamond has been in touch with Jason, and he's going to review the interesting features of this hand and is probably going to help Jason act as the gathering point for further feedback about this, so that this, like all of our other designs, can design and start getting out into the hands of those who need them. So that concludes my overview and my introduction to maker extraordinaire John Diamond.
Okay, well, thank you very much, John. And with an introduction like that, I'm going to have to live up to the promise. What I'm going to do today is simply show you an example, a few examples, in fact, of the Phoenix hand. As John mentioned, it was designed and developed by Jason Bryant, who is currently located out in China. He is a lecturer at a university out in China, although he hails from North Carolina. Now, the hand itself is derived from the Raptor Reloaded and is an excellent example of design progression. As the designs have gone through various models, and you could argue that it went robo-hand up through the Cyborg Beast into the Raptor Reloaded, at each step, aspects that have been causing concern and problems have been addressed and reworked. Aspects that have been successful have been elaborated and extended and retained. And the same has happened again between the Raptor Reloaded and the Phoenix hand. And what I want to do is to now show you the hand and talk through the key advances. For anybody who's familiar with the Raptor Reloaded, you'll be able to relate to this. So bear with me one moment.
While John is setting that up, here's just some pictures of the Phoenix and some information. Ah, he's ready quicker than I thought. Here we go.
Justine, you can show the slide if you'd like to.
I just did, but since you're back, I took the slide down.
Okay. Right, here we go. Now, here's the hand. Here's an example of it. This one was actually printed at 160%, so it's really suitable for most adults. I've only, in showing this to various people at exhibitions, found one or two adults who outgrew it. Most adults could fit to 160, as with the Raptor Reloaded. But as far as the innovations are concerned, you'll notice that with the fingers and the thumb, one of the first things you'll notice is that there is no elastic bungee cord. Hooray, says anybody who'd ever had to try and thread and tie the knots in the elastic bungee cord. This design doesn't use the bungee cords. It does, however, still use elastics, but they are in the form of dental bands. These are the rubber-like bands that are used with dental braces, and you can obtain them in various different strengths and lengths, which means that the finger tip joint and the knuckle joint can be tuned to have different tensions. Now, the reason for that is that if I were to show you the side view and then close very slowly, you'll notice that the whole finger is going down, the knuckle joint is bending, and yet the fingertip has not yet started bending. Only when the proximal phalanges in the middle hits the end of its travel does the fingertip actually start bending round. And that would also be the case if the proximal were to hit an object that it was trying to grasp. Then the fingertip will start bending around to complete the grip. The fact that we can tune the tensions on the bands separately on the different joints means that we can make sure that the knuckle joint bends before the fingertip. What you'll also notice is that if you compare and contrast this hand with the Raptor Reloaded, the fingers are in two different lengths. These two middle fingers here have long fingertips, and the two outside fingers have slightly shorter fingertips. That combines with the fact that the palm itself doesn't have the knuckle joints in alignment. If we were to look at a real human hand, the real human hand doesn't have the knuckle joints in alignment either. And so this has now moved the pinky and the ring finger back so that it's got an appearance a little bit more like a real human hand. And that does have benefits when it comes to grasping objects. In addition to that, the thumb is a different design again, and unlike the Raptor Reloaded, which has rather thin thumb and fingers, and they're all identical on the Raptor Reloaded, the thumb is pretty much as wide as a human thumb would be, and the fingertips are wider than they would be on the Raptor Reloaded. And so all in all, it's got a more human-like finger and thumb arrangement than the Raptor Reloaded. Still robotic, but a bit more human-like. So, as for other innovations, you'll notice that the palm itself is hiding the tendons largely within the palm. They're not as exposed as they were on the Raptor Reloaded. If I were to take an example of a Raptor Reloaded, you'll see that here we've got the tendons exposed on the surface, but not only that, we've also got it fighting with the bungee cords up here. So in fact, there's added friction as the tendons and the bungees rub against each other.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, John. Could you just hold the Raptor again a little higher and a little over towards the center?
Right, okay,
Hard to
will
see.
do. Is
Thank
that
you.
better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so here you will be seeing those bungee cords and the tendons in the same slots on the top of the palm, all exposed. So that's how it was on the Raptor Reloaded. It's only the tendon which is now within the palm. As we don't have bungee cords, we don't need to worry about them. And so you'll see here we've got the tendons going in the back of the palm, and they are hidden within channels within the top of the palm. There's yet another innovation, and that is at the back here, rather than the traditional tensioner, and so here again is the Raptor Reloaded. You've got the tensioner box at the back here with 5 separate pins, individually adjustable, but when you flex the wrist and the gauntlet, you'll be pulling equally on all 5 of the tendons, so the thumb and the fingers will all close together, but, and this is the important thing, as soon as one finger or the thumb hits an object, that's the limit of the motion of the hand. What it typically means is that you pick up something like a water bottle, and the thumb and first finger here is going to be the what actually grips the water bottle, and the other fingers are left dangling in midair, looking pretty but not actually doing any work. With the Raptor, with the Phoenix, we've got a unit which it looks very similar to the tensioner, but in reality it's called the gripper box, and inside it is a mechanism referred to as a whipple tree. And the job of the whipple tree is to balance the tension as you flex the wrist among the 4 fingers. The 4 tendons attached to the 4 fingers go through the whipple tree, and it acts to balance the tension, which means that when one of the fingers hits an object, the other fingers can carry on moving. And so it allows all of the fingers then to grasp the object and form what's referred to as an adaptive grip around the object to make a more secure grasp, so there's less likelihood that the object will in fact fall out of the grip. So if I were to take an object and grasp, you'll notice that all of the fingers are in fact taking part in the grip, as opposed to just 1 or possibly 2 of them. There is one final thing I'd like to say, and that is that although many of the makers in the community have been using thermoformed gauntlets for quite a while now, and they are equally applicable to the Raptor Reloaded and the Phoenix, I'm working with Jason to standardize the adoption, or at least the optional adoption, of a thermoformed gauntlet, so that what we'll probably be doing is including within the package of files both a traditional gauntlet, which is actually the Raptor Reloaded gauntlet, because it's totally compatible at the hinge with the Phoenix, and one of the designs from the Limitless crew in the UK, that's Drew Murray and Stephen Davies, who have done some excellent work in the area of thermoform gauntlet design. Particularly, they are promoting the use of twin Velcro straps, because it has been found in field trials to be more comfortable for long-term wearing on the part of the recipients, and it has many benefits. Working with a thermoform gauntlet uses about half the plastic of the traditional gauntlet. It is significantly stronger, particularly around the hinge, because the gauntlet is actually printed flat. It doesn't have the bend when it's printed. It's printed flat, which means that the filament is wrapped around the hinge hole. On a traditional gauntlet, the layers of the build, as it's 3D printed, rather like the grain in a piece of wood, go through the hinge, which forms a weak point. And in fact, it's been reported from the matching crew that that is a very frequent point of failure, that the hinges just snap in half on the traditionally printed gauntlets. Here you've got optimal strength because the filament is wrapped around the hinge hold in the natural way that it's printed. Additionally, these strap holes, instead of having sagging filament, which you tend to get with the long strap holes in the traditional gauntlet, because this is printed flat, there is very little challenge on the part of the printer to get an absolutely pristine print that comes out beautifully. The thermoforming is nothing to be concerned with. A bowl or a saucepan full of hot water, dip it in. I've already made one video. I'm going to be making another one updated with some slightly improved technique. Just dip it in the hot water up to the edge of the dovetail for about 10 seconds and then bend it, ideally with a block of wood, just to force the edge around without allowing it to curve into funny shapes. But there's an operation that takes about 2 minutes to do, and once you've done your first thermoform gauntlet, you're never going to go back. So with that said, I believe I've touched upon all of the salient points of the Phoenix. It's a wonderful design. Jason has pulled together the dental band finger design that was originated with Dr. Adam Arabian. He's pulled together the thermoform idea for the gauntlet, which had input from Skip Metz, from Andreas Bastian, and a lot of work that went in from the Limitless team in the UK, that's Stephen Davies and Drew Murray, and the work on the Whipple tree that many people, including Skip, were involved in, plus Jason's reworking of the palm. And there's one thing I forgot to mention. You'll notice if you look at the thumb, it's at a completely different angle to the thumb on the Raptor Reloaded that just sticks out to the side. The thumb on the Phoenix is attacking the fingers. So when it closes in far more of a positive grip with the fingers. So a subtle design change there makes a world of difference. We had a bunch of Phoenix and Raptor Reloaded and various other designs of hand on the display table at the World Maker Fair a month or so ago in New York. And we had a team of occupational therapists who were working with a variety of these hands with the general public, going through various challenges to illustrate the type of operations that recipients would try and perform with one of these hands. And frankly, they all gravitated towards the Phoenix design as being the go-to hand, the one that actually allowed for the most manipulation and the easiest to use on the part of the recipients. So with that, I'll pass control back.
Well done.
Thank you very much, John. We'll get back to stuff with you. I just want to let Rich go because he has to catch a plane in 10 minutes. So, Rich, I'm going to very quickly pass this over to you.
Thanks, Justine. Actually, when I said I had to fly, I meant just figuratively. I have to fly and supervise some 8th graders at their lunch table. So I wish I was flying somewhere. Speaking of flying, so this was an incredible week in the education side of things here at e-NABLE, as I had the great opportunity to fly out to California. Last week we spoke a little bit about the award that we received that I received and that I picked up on behalf of the e-NABLE Educators Exchange. And Marla and I had an incredible opportunity to make some connections at the award ceremony, and also Marla and I had an incredible opportunity just to spend some time together. And then John Scholl joined us, and I just wanted to speak just to the value of actually being in the same physical space with these incredible people. We often are collaborating at a distance and digitally, and it was very interesting how the conversations went just to be in the same room. So that was a little epiphany that I had, the importance of the personal connection. So, so in the education side, we're still dealing with some incredible fallout from the award and being able to get some folks together. So we have had some really interesting interest in our Educators Exchange as a result of the award. Marla and I had the opportunity to meet a group called EPICS, Engineering Projects and Community Service, which is out of Purdue, but they're connected to several dozen colleges around the United States. We're going to be following up with them about a possible connecting of our work, since the philosophies of our two groups seem to be so much in line. So that was exciting. I also had a great chance to reconnect with some folks at MIT's D-Lab, who I've been working with in other contexts for a number of years, and we realized that they're actually already aware and incorporating some of our e-NABLE work in a class that they call Prosthetics for the Developing World. So we're going to, again, reconnect with them and look for some possible ways to scale what they do to high school and middle school and even elementary school audiences. So great sort of serendipitous connections there. We didn't even realize that we were already connected to EPICS and D-Lab until we had a chance to talk through a little bit, and it seems like this work attracts good people from all walks. So just a reaffirmation of the good work that's being done out there. Also some really interesting developments in terms of the global scaling on the education side of things. An international school article that I put out a couple of weeks ago is starting to attract interest from international schools around the world, and we've been talking about this a bit, but there is great potential for American international schools around the world to act as centers or nodes of involvement with e-NABLE, and then to have their students then connect to their local communities in the countries in which the schools are. So that continues to bear fruit with the American School of Mumbai and the American School of Brasilia and a couple of other who have sort of sent out feelers. So I feel like that's going to start to expand. I also had an incredible conversation with the folks at the GEMS School in Chicago. The GEMS is a network of schools, of approximately 80 schools around the world, and they have one of their schools in Chicago. So we're actually going to pilot an e-NABLE program at the Chicago school with the intention to scale it to more of their network schools, if not all of them. So we had a great hour-long conversation, and they're really interested in the work we do. I thought I would also show you, I have a little group of students that are also working here at my school. We printed off a Raptor Reloaded in the colors of the Rwandan flag this week because we're about to send 6 kits to one of our sister schools called the Fawe School in Kigali, Rwanda. This is a
Rich, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Could you do me a favor and hold that up, like pretend it, put it where your head is, so we can see it.
Oh my God.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're sending about 6 kits off to this the Fawe School in Kigali is a girls' math and science magnet school, and they have expressed great interest in working with us. They don't have a 3D printer, but they are extremely interested in building hands, and they've already been heading out into the community to look for possible recipients in Kigali. So they're going to be building, and we thought we would print one off in the colors of their flag just to get a little bit of more involvement and attention to that. I should also mention on Monday and Tuesday of this week, I had the great chance to spend some time at the Buck Institute for Education annual summit, where our award received some really nice press, and a presentation was done for all the 80 Buck Institute national faculty members who are the lead teacher trainers of project-based learning. I had incredible response from the national faculty members, all of whom are looking for authentic project-based learning examples to share with the schools that they train. So we now have between 8 and 10 national faculty members who are interested in being deeply involved, and some of them are actual teachers at schools, but many more of them have overseeing roles in school districts. So that is also a group that is absolutely going to spread the good work that we're doing. And we continue to try to address teachers' needs and look for information that is going to help teachers come to this work and get involved in this work. So I'm in the process of putting together just a little website revamp for the E3 STEAM part. I sent out some information to some schools that had just come and connected with us for the first time, so I sent them the work that we put together just to sort of see what how the website guidance that we have put together is actually how useful it is for them, and so I'm in the process of getting some feedback from them. So we'll actually have a little location on our webpage that just specifically addressed to teachers, in addition to the fact we're looking for, we're continuing to work on our teacher's guide, which I hope we can get to in the next couple of weeks. So busy work, but lots of great things happening for the E3 STEAM education side of things.
Thank you very much, Rich. It's very exciting. John Diamond and I last on Veterans Day were at Convent of the Sacred Heart in New York City. Convent of the Sacred Heart is one of the first schools, I believe, that did a big e-NABLE program, putting an e-NABLE program into their classes. It was fabulous to meet. I did a presentation in front of 250 high school girls, and that's a little intimidating, but it was great. It was they are working, I think last year their engineering and math classes put together were matched with 20 people and put together 20 hands. They're going to do about the same this year. We saw some of the hands in progress as they were being made, and we were able to provide the girls with some feedback on tying techniques and the bungee cords and such like that. But one of the most exciting things we did is we did a demonstration right there for them of the thermoformed gauntlet, and it was absolutely amazing, the reaction. So when John talks about that once you do the thermoform gauntlet, you'll never go back, they couldn't believe it. They had him do a video, they've recorded it, they really want to go for this. But the work that they're doing is just fabulous. And to go and spend some time with them was a really great day, and it was wonderful to see how engaged they are and how much they're doing. And at Sacred Heart, it's not just building the hands. They have integrated this into many areas of the curriculum so that these girls are not only working on scheduling the time on their 3 printers for all of these pieces and working on the assembly, they build web pages for the recipients so the family knows exactly what's happening and what the progress is. There's quite a lot that they do that is not just putting the hand together, and I think it's a great model, especially for some of these programs that Rich is talking about.
Yeah, Justine, that's fantastic. Just to kind of piggyback on that, one of the areas that we're seeing of real excitement is schools that are looking to expand their STEM or STEAM programs. And what we're finding is, especially girls' schools, all girls' schools, or even mixed schools where they're trying to increase the interest on the part of girls in their STEM programs, we're seeing great response from girls who would like to be part of an engineering program that is dedicated towards doing good in the world. So that's been a really cool offshoot. What we're also seeing is some really interesting, the beginnings of some student collaborations. So the students that you're talking about at Convent of Sacred Heart, in addition to a number of schools that are actually becoming very adept at talking about the work that they're doing, and we're really looking to expand that, the opportunity to then put students in the leadership position of reaching out to other schools and acting as mentors, not only here in the US, but also around the world as well. And I should say I also saw an interesting thing this week. I sent, while I was away at the conference in California, I had left a group of my 12 8th graders. I just gave them bags of pieces and cords and bungees and asked to see how far they can get. And when I arrived back here, I had a couple of student groups who completely on their own had gone from 0 to actually having fully built, functioning Raptor reloadeds that they had done completely by themselves. Just a little, hint at what kids are able to do without teachers getting in there and messing it up. So, great, thanks a lot, Justine, for that update.
Thank you. Yes, I think there's what's happening in the education world and with the potential with education is very exciting. At Sacred Heart, they had visitors from their sister school in St. Louis, and we were able to talk to them, and they are looking at putting a program in as well. So you may be hearing about that, and it's very exciting. So now, I believe, last but not least, we've got some exciting updates on inventory and some tracking things as well. So I'm going to pass this over to Melina, and then we'll go to questions.
So I think some of you've probably seen in the Google Plus community that we posted, we have a new inventory system that is has been provided to us by Stefan Canis from South Africa, and I do want to say this up front. We're still kind of between 2 systems, so we're using the new one, but we're still having to do a few things in the old one. So forgive us if we miss a step. We will correct it as we go along. I hope everyone else is excited as I am about it, because this gives us the capability down the road to track everything that we do. And as you send in these hand kits that wind up with some person you will never, never, ever meet, we will actually be able to send you an email and provide the information, kind of like UPS tracking of the journey that your hand has made from when we received it to where it ultimately found a home, which I think is just the coolest thing in the world. So I would like to encourage everyone to continue sending in the wonderful pictures from your children and the little notes that you've been writing, and a picture of yourself. That person in Russia or China or whatever will see that, and even if maybe they can't read what you've written, they will get the idea from your smile that someone else in another part of the world cared enough to do something for them. And there's beautiful things in matching going on. We're restructuring everything to get it to flow better and to actually keep up with the current demand, and immense amount of work going on behind the scenes with people like Andreas Bastian and Scott Summit and Stefan. And it's going to take time to get there, and the patience is greatly appreciated, but we're finally able to do some really magical things that are going to help all of us and reduce frustration levels that we all have, because I have them just like all of you do. And we'll be able to provide you more information and give you ways to check on that yourselves. So I hope everyone will join me in celebrating this, because I'm super excited, and I have an assistant here that's working very hard to make the inventory come together too, so I want to give Sarah a pat on the back. And that's all I have for this week, but very exciting town hall. Thank you, John and Rich.
Yeah, it's
Thank you. Hold on. I have to mute John.
Can I?
Where am I oh, sorry, Melina, I muted you. I was getting an echo.
Also, we had yesterday, we have a lovely gentleman named Matt Campana who runs a corporate motivation company, and he does a program called Hands of Gratitude, and through some of the hand kits that everyone has sent in, he was able to do a hand event yesterday with Career Builder. And after he told them our story and how beautiful it is that so many of you can contribute in so many ways, these corporate executives were in tears and hugging each other and want to do another event for their people in Atlanta. So continue sending in the hand kits, and it impacts not only the person that gets it down the road, but it impacts those people in the middle that are assembling them, and it touches them in a really meaningful way. So I would thank you, everyone, for everything that you're doing. Yes, John's holding up his finger.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to thank and congratulate Melina on the inventory system, and to call out Stephen Hunis for this, not just the inventory system, but the larger system that he is working on with our team. I just wanted to make a general observation that we're going through what seems to be a constant growth spurt, and there is always, therefore, some kind of a bottleneck, and we are addressing it in ways that that begin to emerge. This Phoenix hand, for example, is finally coming out of its long, dark passage through our review process. It's a victory. It's a triumph for Jason and the people who've worked on it, and we want to make the pipeline work better and faster than it did on that one. We have delays on matching users with recipients, but we have an inventory and a tracking system coming online right now, which is part of a larger system which will help along those lines. And I got to say, as the guy who put forward the RIT arm and then urged that people just cool their jets while we make easier arms, I did want to mention that there are several really exciting new arms coming into the pipeline now. We talked about the modular arm, the flexi arm, which has a heritage that goes from Steve Wood to Christian Silva to our friends at Po Paraguay, is going through a development spurt and is getting really very slick and very cool. Our friends at Fathom released just today an Isabella arm, not to be confused with some other Isabella arm coming from England or something like that. The point is, the long, dark logjam of arms is showing signs of breaking up with new options as well. Which is to say, we are pulling these things together, and I think we are getting better every time, even as the challenges and the opportunities continue to rise. So I just want to salute Stefan, Melina, Jason, all of these people who are making real contributions and helping us put pieces of a very complicated ecology together in a way that people are recognizing. So it's a win for everybody.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone. I agree this is all very exciting. I'm going to go through a couple of the questions that are in the queue. There is a question to provide a URL for the Phoenix Hand. It's in the research, the R&D forums, and we will provide links to that, and we will probably also I'll find out if what the plans are, where it's going to be moved, so it's a little easier to find. There is another link for the request for the file for the Raptor Reloaded thermoformed gauntlet. There are several different versions of that gauntlet, so we will try and put together some information about the differences between those gauntlets and links to them. There's Dean Rock, who said that Lydia had asked him to present a hand as well. That was actually me, Justine, and not Lydia at the R&D. And Dean, I am very sorry. I completely forgot to get in touch with you to get that scheduled. So I'm going to do that this week, and maybe we can have you come to next Friday's town hall with so much that's been announced today. I don't want what you're doing to be lost, and I think the work you're doing, I think people in the community are going to be very interested to see that. So as a little teaser, there's some very interesting design that we're going to show you next week. That's been done by a member of the community who is showing it at a town R&D, one of our R&D hangouts. Richard Vandermeer reminds me that I haven't gotten back to him to find out if we have a presence scheduled for the CES show in Las Vegas, which is January 6th to 9th. And if not, who can I coordinate with to set up a display? I've been invited by the sponsors of 3D printers, and they'd love to represent e-NABLE. Richard, get in touch with me. I'll see what I can do for you, because I believe at this time there is nothing else planned. So I can help you get that scheduled and get what you need to do that. And I think that is the Q&A. I'll give it a couple of minutes. Does anybody else who's on the call have anything they wish to add or say? John, Melina, anybody?
I will make a call out to Grace Mastali, who for some reason has not spoken on a town hall to my knowledge. She is, she's currently pulling together an unbelievable amount of information that Google wants, and has been riding herd on all of us with extraordinary vigor and patience, if not to say gentleness. And she's doing a great job, and she's working as hard as anyone to pull it together. So a shout out to the hedgehog in chief, Grace Mastali.
Yes, we will have Grace here just as soon as we get her an icon. That's not a little blue person. That was the deal we had with her, and Melina and I haven't done that with her yet. So we will do that, and we will get Grace here, and everyone will get to hear about all the very hard work and great work she's been doing. She really is an amazing person, really. I am going to check again to see if we have any additional questions. It does not look like we do. Oh, and now it won't load.
I'm looking at the queue, and I don't think there are any.
Anything new? It won't load for me. In which case, we may be able to end a little early today. I will respond to those requests for links in the community, and as well probably in a post, because I would like to highlight this particular town hall for people to watch because of all of the information about about the new hand and the new designs and about arms and everything else. There's another question popped up from Robert Cole, who says that he just finished printing his very test hand, and his company is very interested and could be working on doing a multiple build on their 12 printers. That would be fantastic. We would love to hear from you. Get in touch with me or get in touch with John Schul, and we will see what we can do for you.
Thank you, Robert.
I don't see anything else. So if that's it, we can end a little early. We will see everybody next week. Hopefully we'll have Dean with us then to show us his hand. And until then, happy printing. Bye-bye, everybody.